What's going on, everybody? It is Juan from Raven Drone Solutions. In today's video, I'm going to be talking to you about what to do when you first start out in the drone industry. So for those that are curious about getting into the drone industry, this video is for you. So stay tuned. So, number one is that you need to understand that you need to have a Part 107 if you're going to fly for any commercial reason. All right, so if you're getting paid or if you're doing anything for a commercial company, it's going to be used for any business reasons, whether it's real estate or inspection work or marketing, whatever the case might be. You need to understand that you need to get that Part 107. So if you're doing any kind of work, you plan on doing any kind of work, you need to understand that that Part 107 is crucial. Now, obviously, I've seen this myself many times, people that are doing work that they shouldn't be doing, that are not licensed. Personally, I don't think it's worth the risk, because all it takes is for that one person to sue you for whatever reason. They start doing an investigation and they find out you're not licensed. Now, I've seen this in the drone Facebook pages. Some people say that, look, it doesn't matter, whatever. There's only a couple guys in the FAA that are enforcing this kind of stuff, and they're bogged down with more important work. Either way, it doesn't matter. My opinion, just get that Part 107. It is really not that difficult. Alright, so how do you get that Part 107? Well, you got to take the test. And to take that test, you got to study. And you got to study a lot. Now, me, I'm not the best test taker, so I had to study a lot. I actually woke up at 5 a.m. that morning when I went to go to the center and take the exam. And I didn't do bad, but to me, definitely, it was something that I really had to study in, because it's if you just go in thinking that you're going to know it all, I mean, possibly you're going to fail. So, my opinion, get a study guide. There's so many of them out there. There's many videos on YouTube that you can look at, some of which I'll actually link down below to make it easy for you. Some of these videos have really helped me out, and they really clarified a lot of things. But yeah, there's many other training modules or whatever that you can look at that will teach you about the Part 107 and how to prepare for it. So definitely study as much as you can. So the third thing, just get your Part 107. Just go online, see where you can take it. Usually it's at an airport. For me, I had to go to the Miami International Airport at this little testing center, and I got it done. Took about an hour to take the test. It really wasn't all that bad, but yeah, just get that Part 107, pass the test. If you need to take the test again, do it. Not a big deal, but you need that Part 107 to be able to work commercially, so just get it done. So the fourth thing, and this really depends on how you want to position yourself as a drone pilot, whether you already have a job or a profession that is incorporating drones into your workflow, or you're like me, that you pretty much stick to just drones and you base your company on that. You need to look at the legal stuff, but for me, what I did is I formed my own LLC with my own company name, and that's how I started. Basically, the day after I got my Part 107, I registered my business with the company name and everything like that. So just make sure that you get all that legal paperwork in order, because it's gonna come in handy when you start getting jobs. All right, so the fifth thing, and this is assuming that you're doing what I'm doing, which is you're being a drone service provider and your main business is either drones or just you're incorporating drones into your workflow and you have your own business. And that is, get a business bank account. You do not want to mix personal finances with business finances. It is a nightmare, and it's not something you want to do, especially when tax season comes around. I always like to keep everything completely separate. I got my own bank account with my debit card or credit cards, whatever the case might be, but I don't mix any personal with business. And as a matter of fact, anytime I'm out working, anything that I acquire when I'm working or anything work related, so any drone gear, food that I'm eating while I'm at work or whatever the case might be, I always put that on the company card. And usually that is deducted from taxes. So definitely just get a business bank account, because you do not want to be mixing personal and business. Sixth thing, get a drone that won't break the bank. And for me, when I first started, I got one of these cheap, like $100 drones. I crashed the hell out of that thing, and I mean, it wasn't a very easy drone to fly because any little gust of wind and, the drone basically goes off course. Now, why is this important? Because it made me a much better pilot. So when I actually got my first real drone that I use for work, which was the DJI Air 2S, and I still use it to this day, that drone, I was able to fly it much more efficiently, much smoother, just much more proficiently after having that drone. Now you don't have to get a $100 drone. Maybe if you want to go head first and do actual paid work with your drone, well, go on eBay or go get a refurbished drone. But my advice, especially when you're first starting out, is keep it lean, because one of the biggest mistakes that people make, and I've made this myself, is we spend so much on the latest and greatest gear, and a lot of times we don't end up using it, and that really ends up costing us in the long run. So get a drone that won't break the bank. Get a drone that you don't mind crashing, that you don't mind losing, and just practice with it as much as you can. So this brings me into my 7th point, piggybacking off of literally what I said in this last one, and that is practice, practice, practice. And practice with a purpose. Do about one flight every day or every other day, at a minimum. Generally speaking, if you can do more, do more. And what I mean about flying with a purpose is don't just fly around and see, oh my God, this is awesome. Practice cinematic shots, because this is what people look for. Practice doing real estate shots. Practice doing inspection work, because this is what's going to give you money. If you don't know how to fly correctly, I'm telling you it's going to cost you in the long run. And I know, because I've made this mistake myself a few times. There were times where I didn't set the FPS, the frames per second correctly, and I had these beautiful shots, but when I actually played the video, it was not very good. It was very choppy, and it's because the frames weren't correct. There's other times where I did shoots and I didn't have the right shutter speed, or whatever the case might be, and I could have prevented a lot of this if I would have just practiced. So definitely practice, 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 because I'm telling you, it makes a very big difference. Even today, with all these drones, with the amazing technology that it has, the pilot makes all the difference. All right, so the 8th thing is look up training seminars in your area. In different niches, whatever you want to specialize in, whether it's cinematography or mapping or inspection work or whatever the case might be. But definitely do some training. There's always something new to learn. Believe me, I've been in the drone industry for a little over a year. I fly almost every single day, and I know that I still have barely scratched the surface of what there is to know. As a matter of fact, I am a huge rookie, and I consider myself a big rookie. And one of the things that I've done is I always had the mentality of a student, because I know that there's always something new to learn. A couple of weeks ago, I actually did a training seminar with Dylan Gorman on mapping. Now, a lot of this stuff I already knew, but he highlighted a bunch of things that I actually didn't know. And it was very good for me to actually sit down and talk with him and learn, because it's beneficial, and this is what's actually going to make me money in the long run. So definitely, guys, there's always something new to learn, so keep that in mind. All right, the 9th thing, and that is seek out a mentor if you can. Now, this doesn't just have to be about drones or how to pilot drones correctly. It could be things like just how to manage your business, or how to just the administrative side, or safety, whatever the case might be. But try and see if you can get somebody that can teach you things, that has probably been in the industry for a while. For me, like I said, I'm an eternal student, and that's how I always see myself. And for me, I have no problems asking for help. I have no problems asking mentors, asking people for feedback, because I think it's important. Because I may see things a certain way, but the professional may not. The professional may think, look, you need to improve on this. I started doing cell towers not that long ago, and I thought I had it down, and turns out I didn't. And for me, I just kept on asking questions. I said, okay, well, how should I do this? How should I do that? How should I do the aperture? How should I do the shutter speed? How should I place, how should I place myself so that way, I get the right data and the customer is happy with the product. So there's always something new to learn, and the best way to do it is seek out a mentor that can help you. All right, 10th thing is Look into the many different niches and try them, but don't try to do it all. All right, so let me explain. One of the biggest mistakes that a lot of people make is that they try to do it all. And trust me, I've met many pilots that have done it. Even Dylan Gorman told me that one of the biggest mistakes he's made was trying to do a lot all at once, and it's going to burn you out. Believe me, even something as simple as real estate photography, there's quite a bit to learn if you want to make good money and do it right. So definitely understand that. For me, what I do is aerial photography and videography, asset inspection, and mapping. Now, I haven't done a whole lot of mapping yet. That's something that I'm kind of putting to the side, and I want to learn the aerial photography and the asset inspection so I can sell it and actually charge good money for it. But definitely, if I said, okay, you know what, I'm going to try to do security, and I'm going to try to do agriculture, and I'm going to try to do power and utilities, and this, that, and the other, I'm going to burn myself out, and I'm basically not going to do the job correctly, unless if I have a lot of people working for me. But the fact is, a lot of us don't. A lot of us are solo. A lot of us are just one or two man companies, and we just have to go with what we know, go with what we have. So definitely don't try to do it all, because it's not a good idea, but definitely try to learn. Don't limit yourself, and just see what's out there, because a lot of times what you may think you want to do, maybe the market's saturated, or maybe you're just not good at it, or maybe it's just there's not enough money for it, and maybe it's just better if you do something else. So don't limit yourself, but don't try to do it all. 11th thing you should do when you first start out in the drone industry, and that is seek out the drone job websites like DroneBase, DroneUp, and there's many others. Now, I wouldn't recommend all of them because some of them are horrible, but definitely look up a lot of these companies. Now, like I said, the pay may not be the best, and I'm going to make a video on this in some other time, but definitely it's a good way to get your foot in the door, start getting some experience. A lot of times these companies know that a lot of pilots just use this to get some experience and then they leave. So they understand that a lot of times it's just to get things in your portfolio. So definitely look into that. It's not a bad idea. A lot of times, guys, we just got to bite the bullet and understand that, look, you're not always going to make the big bucks right off the bat. It takes a while. It takes practice. It takes time for you to be able to sell a product and sell it well. But definitely, especially when you're first starting out, it's better to fly under somebody else's banner other than your own. Like for me, if it was day one from the time I actually started my business and I started getting clients, and flying under the flag of Raven Drone Solutions when I barely know what I'm doing wouldn't be a good idea. Now for me, what I did was I contracted with the company for about 6 months, and I did a lot of real estate work for them. Now I'm not with this company anymore for a lot of reasons that I'm not going to talk about right now, but I was actually able to get my foot in the door, and a lot of people were very impressed with my work, and many people actually called me, wanted me to do work for them, which I didn't, simply because I got a non-compete agreement, but it was a very clear sign that people liked my work and that the investment was worth it. 12th thing, get yourself PPE and other related equipment. So things like a reflective vest would be a good start. Now, this is mostly if you're doing any kind of utilities, but in my opinion, especially if you want to be taken seriously, but also because a lot of times people get very curious, and other times some people get very hostile with drone pilots. If they see that you actually have, if you actually have some kind of protective equipment, something that signifies that you're a drone pilot, they're a lot more likely to take you seriously. I mean, I've gone and I've flown around. Obviously cell towers and construction sites, stuff like that, and nobody questioned what I was doing, quite simply because they saw, okay, no, this guy's on a job, he's got equipment, he's doing what he has to be doing, let's leave him alone. So definitely, this is if you're doing more like the utility side, but even if you're doing just aerial photography and videography, the fact that you have a vest on with FAA drone pilot, it just kind of gives you an extra level of credibility, I would say. So, not a bad idea. Definitely something you should look into. All right, 13th, and this is one thing that I really want everybody to understand, because I got ridiculed by this a million times, and really my answer was, there's no right time to start a business. Ask any entrepreneur, he'll tell you, There is no right time to start. The stars are not going to align in your favor all the time. Look, I left a cushy 6-figure job overseas, came back here, got married, which has a lot of, marriage in itself is a gamble, really, and then started my own business. And I did not apply for any jobs or anything, any 9-to-5 jobs. This is me. This is my business. And yeah, a lot of people thought I was insane, but I said, look, there's no right time to start. You just got to do it. You can plan everything. You can plan it to the finest detail, but if you don't act, that plan is useless. And the other thing is, plans fail all the time. Plans get changed constantly. So understand that there's no right time to start. Now, look, everyone's situation is going to be different. Some people have children. Some people have a lot of financial obligations. Some people are married. Some people, they just can't pick up and leave, and that's understandable. Like I said, there's no right time to start. Sometimes you got to start small. Maybe do it on the weekends. Maybe just as a side hustle. Maybe just put the word out to friends that might be interested, like a wedding or whatever, and just do it for free, just to get some flight hours or whatever the case might be. But the fact is, there is no necessarily a right time to start. You have to. The other thing is, you have to plan. You have to plan ahead, but don't fall in love with your plan, because plans change constantly. You have to be open to changes and revisions. So just keep this in mind when you first start out. You're gonna have a lot of people ridicule you and tell you that, look, why are you doing this? This is a horrible idea. This is not the right time. And quite frankly, yeah, like I said, there's no right time to start. You just got to get up and do it. All right, last and certainly not least, and this really is more of a personal suggestion, but it's a very strong suggestion, and that is, get yourself a type of uniform. Whether it's just a hat with your logo, or in my case, a t-shirt with your logo. I have drone pilot in the back, which you can't really see right now, but fact is, every time I go out and fly, I wear my uniform. One thing that people told me is that they see that I'm dead serious about my business, and that when I'm out at a shoot, they understand that, okay, that guy means business because he is dressed appropriately. He's dressed for the job. Now, me personally, a lot of times I'm in cargo pants or sneakers or with boots. Doesn't matter. If I'm doing like more of the utilities thing, then yeah, like I'll be more with cargo pants and stuff like that, and with boots. But either way, for me, I've seen that when I wear a uniform, people take me seriously. If I show up to a site and I'm in shorts and flip-flops, well, people are going to be like, all right, this guy probably doesn't take his job seriously. The only time I would ever be in shorts and flip-flops on a job is if I was doing a job at the beach and I'm constantly getting wet and sandy, and yeah, but I would still be in this. So definitely something you got to think about. I always think that it's worth the investment. You don't need to go crazy about it. You can just get a cheap shirt from H&M that has your company, like your company colors. Mine's is blue and khaki. But whatever yours are, doesn't matter. The fact is, people are going to remember you when they see your uniform, and then people are also going to take you seriously because they know, okay, that is a business, that is a legitimate business, and these guys are actually serious about their job, not 16-year-olds that are just doing this for fun. So something to keep in mind. Alright guys, so that is it for today. Let me know what you think down in the comments. Hit me one of these and subscribe, which helps the algorithm. Share this video with anybody who you know that might be wanting to get into the drone industry and doesn't know where to start, or just needs some bit of advice. Any seasoned pilots out there that have been around the block for a while, comment down below and chime in and contribute to the conversation. Hopefully, just keep it constructive. All right, guys, that is it for today. See you next time.